Damn, I didn't even get us in. Welcome to Cheeks United show. A little bit of technical difficulties here, but I'm here. I'm joined with Dale O'Donnell today, and we are talking about the sale of Manchester United. And obviously, we've got a few comments coming straight away. But obviously, Dale, how are you doing today? How's everything going with you? Long time no speak, actually.
Yeah, it's all going good. I think we're all a bit bored right now with the international break, to be honest. I know it's coming to an end, and we'll all be getting excited shortly for the Manchester Derby, I'm sure.
Of course, we can't wait for that one for sure. But today it's all about the Man United. All of the rumors that we've been hearing over the past weeks. We've been, a lot of people wanting. Actually, at every single game, we're hearing Glazers out. We're hearing the chants every week, and we've got a few people obviously saying that they're interested in buying the club. And this is what we're here to talk about today. Barry Saunders already saying he'll believe it when it happens, and Callum Miller saying get them out. So, what are your thoughts on that initial comment there? Anyway, Barry Saunders, believe it when it
Yeah,
happens.
I think not only as a Manchester United fan, but also as a journalist, and you're working on this story, and you hear of X amount of people interested, and if you really think about it, everyone's interested in knowing Manchester United. It's the biggest football club in the world. Um, you believe it when it happens, when you start to see progress in certain fronts, when interested parties show their proof of funds and really kind of show that they're interested in buying the club. But I think it's very important to take note that when Chelsea were available, there was easily over 50, possibly 100 people interested in buying that football club. And that's quite a lot. And you'd be wondering about who has the money to realistically do this. And I fear about that because we're all desperate. As you mentioned, the protests, we're all desperate to get rid of the Glazers for what they've done to the club. But I fear that the next owners won't be very popular either because we're talking savage money here. We're talking about money that people that we know don't have, Manchester United fans don't have. And I see Eric Cantona talking about this idealistic kind of view that fans should own the club. Of course, that's what we want, but I think we're so far beyond that, Nathan, that it's these people that would be interested. I don't think they have empathy. There's no empathy in business at this level, unfortunately. You're muted.
I was saying 100%. There's so much to do at United as it is. We're behind with the training ground. We're behind with the
Yeah.
stadium as well now. And, people saying that the stadium's leaking and stuff. And I still love it. Of course, we all love it when we go there, the memories and everything. But we do need a major upgrade. We do need investment year upon year to get back up there with Man City. So there is a hell of a lot to come in. And to be honest, it's going to take a big amount of money. So that was the question I was going to ask, So how much is Man United actually worth? What do you
You
think Man
see,
United is actually worth or what they can be sold for?
what we all think it doesn't matter because it's the only people that really matter here are the Glazers and what valuation they put on the club if they're ones that are going to sell it. And I think what I've been told is that the club is being valued at 4.2 billion. That's including the debt that we put with the next
Right.
owners, which is a considerable amount of money. And we've heard of many parties that are interested, but there has been a few figures doing the rounds in the 3 billion bracket, but it's what I understand is 4.2 billion is what
Wow.
would take to get the club out of the Glazers' hands. Now, this kind of the wording on on this is the club for sale? I think everything is for sale at the right price. I think the most interested thing now is, are these people that are interested, are they willing to offer that amount of money? Because you take on that, you also have to put a lot of money into what you mentioned: stadiums, training facilities, the squad. Like for instance, Manchester United announced some figures this week, operating at a loss. Um, this is a club that has announced in the past year that there's going to be plans to do up Old Trafford. But with the club operating at a loss, I can't see the Glazers putting money into their back pocket to do that. So this is all kind of adds to my beliefs that the club is genuinely for sale. Because I don't see the Glazers being around to do that infrastructure that we're talking about.
Yeah. Do you actually think, like the fans always chanting the song every game now? Do you
Yes.
think that they're coming to the game and feeling that pressure, or do you think they're just like water off a duck's back? They're watching it and going, we're going to seem like we care, but we're just going to keep on going. And then until a massive, massive bid comes in and they take over everything, we've made our money, we'll just get out of here quietly. That's the way I kind of think in my mind that it is. Does something more have to happen, or we could continue doing this and the pressure builds?
I think the pressure is fantastic. I think the work that the 1958 had done has been really, really good. The pressure, protest at every home game, as you mentioned, the chants that are coming out. It's not just that. I think there's a bigger picture. This is quite an intriguing movement because it's also online. There's social media involved. There's the attacking of sponsors. There's putting the pressure on sponsors, which I know the Glazers do not like. Richard Arnold confirmed that in a meeting that was leaked, that it was affecting the club. And I think that with the chants, with the protest and everything, Manchester United fans are showing the world that they're unhappy. And that's quite interesting when you look at those that are interested in buying the club, because they can see that. They can see that it's a big brand, millions and millions of fans that are really, really unhappy with their owners. And if they can come in and spice it up and make those people happy, they'd be very popular. But like I said, I fear that the next owners will be unpopular, but not like the Glazers.
Yeah, well, we've got actually take a look at this question here. So obviously, we've got first of all, Lossie said our club will never get Champions League football with the Glazers in charge. But Amar Khan says, thanks for the insight, Dale. Is it true Dubai are interested, or will it be a USA consortium? I have a feeling Jim Ratcliffe, unfortunately, doesn't have the money the Glazers would want. Is this guy seeing all our questions, or what? Because he's just gone for everything. We will be getting to every single thing he said there. I don't want to kind of kill the show by getting all the answers done straight away. Just a sec, Dale. Let's have a look at the next one. American owners are not notoriously clueless. Stick to American football as well. Well, that was what we're going to come on to. Who is actually interested? That was the question I was going to ask you. What do you feel could be possible? Who do you feel could be possible suitors for the position? And what do you think?
There is interest. There's interest from a number of parties. We've seen, which we'll get on to Jim Ratcliffe, he had a spokesperson confirm his interest. But interest is one thing. There's a number of other things that have to follow, like they have to show their proof of funds, which to show that they're actually interested, that they have the money ready to bid. And that takes time to get that kind of clearance from banks or whoever's going to approve that. But there is American interest, and I see some of the comments that are quite against that. You have to look at who has this money to buy Manchester United, and there's not many people in Manchester, like I mentioned, that have it. So this ideal view that I'm talking about is just so unlikely. This is so unlikely. We're going to get on to Radcliffe, and look, there's this ideal view that he might want to give something back to Manchester. With 4.2 billion, it's a lot of money, and I feel he would need a consortium behind them to compete with some of the other people that are showing interest.
Yeah, you got Flossie saying, just look at our Arsenal owners, how the fans hate them. You know what? I watched the documentary on Arsenal, and I think that they've been doing a good job, and they didn't put pressure on Arteta when he's lost his first few games when he first came, and the first 4 games was it, and then he turned it around. They understood the size of the task, and I believe they were making the right decisions. So even though they may be American, at the end of the day, it doesn't make them not good. Not every American not good in that kind of position, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I get that, but there is a fear, Nathan, and it's genuine that those Americans that are showing interest in Premier League clubs, and there's lots of them, not just Manchester United, there's lots of them. They're coming in to buy these big clubs with a view for the European Super League. That's what they want.
Okay.
That's not what we want. Okay, that's not what we want. And the Glazers and the Arsenal owners and Liverpool's owners, it's all what they want. So quite honestly, I don't trust them. I don't trust the people with this money. Like I said, they don't have empathy. There's no empathy at this level of business. And look, I don't know what would be the best case scenario, because either way, I think it's going to be unpopular. But Manchester United generate enough money to fund themselves. I think
That's what I
these
thought.
owners should be able to look at that. And you know, it wouldn't be a difficult task to do a better job than the Glazers, who borrowed money to take over this football club. Now just strip dividends out when it's losing millions, hundreds of millions every year. There's no love. Mention empathy. That word does not exist with that family. I think what Manchester United want is a bit back.
100%. You know, I didn't even look at it on that kind of level for so long until, you know, I got chatting to the, you know, to the fans and stuff, and you realize, like, wow, when you talk, it really is deep what they do in the club in terms of taking everything out. It's mad, losing, and then just borrowing to buy players. It's crazy.
You see, for whoever is interested, these interested parties, it's pretty easy PR, because if they have the money to be better owners, will not be difficult. You know, will not be difficult. But I think it's important to stress too that we've had about 2 months of real solid speculation about the club being for sale. But what I would say to a lot of people, because there's a lot of kind of impatience online about how quick this can happen, this is not a quick process. This will take a long time. And there's so many people that are interested that are not even worth talking about, because until a proof of funds is shown, there's no point mentioning their name. And there's quite a lot of interest from unknown parties. Saudi Arabia, for instance. There's another place. There was someone mentioned Dubai. Do I know of any interest in Dubai? No, nothing from Dubai. But look, this is all just speculation right now. Nothing is very solid. The only thing I can say is solid right now is at the 4.2 billion valuation.
Yeah, that's what you have. You got a few people asking them questions, but look, we're far too early for any of that kind of detail. To be fair, you know, Dubai by United, are they interested? Like you said, a lot of people are interested. A lot of people will be interested. I'm just hoping that someone with substantial amount of money that just sees this as a hobby and wants to actually just spend their money on making us the best. That's what I want. Making us the best training ground, best stadium, best players. Not don't mean like the most expensive players. I'm talking about best players. You know, manager wants this player, get him in. You got the right man for the job, I believe. I think we got the right people in the right places. It's getting there, but now we need to get that, you know, that back office sorted out.
I think another thing is with that conference call that happened with investors last week with Richard Arnold and John Murtough, was the mention that future transfer windows, we won't be as active in those. And like, it just gave me a flashback back to when Jose became manager, because Guardiola was appointed at a similar point. And if you looked across the city then, they were spending money to get back on top, to stay on top, and to keep winning and to dominate and to try and build this team around Guardiola. There wasn't talk a few weeks into that saying that, oh, we're not going to be as active. Like, it's mindless. How can you say that when the season's only started? We don't know what position we're going to be towards the end of the season. And then you reassess your squad and you say how much you need to spend. We're Manchester United, and you look every year, they're just penny pinching. They're holding us back. We need owners that will let Manchester United be Manchester United, and fans to reunite, because the fan base has been very split for years on different things. But I think the one thing that the 1958 have done really well with these protests against the Glazers is everyone seems to kind of feel that they have a purpose, and if they can, whether it's attacking the sponsors, whether it's spreading the word about protests, everyone feels involved. And I think that's really, really important. And the message has to be echoed for however long it takes.
Exactly. Well, you got another one who's reiterating the point as well. All the Glazers are interested in putting the money in their own pockets. Just look at the state of the stadium. When is it getting fixed? I'll tell you, never. That's what Pedro said.
Nathan, they do not care. It's look at any business that they've run. They've run with no empathy at all. When have they ever shown any interest? The European Super League happened, and there was the call for, like, we haven't had any dialogue with the Glazers ever. They came out and they promised that dialogue would open, it's non-existent still. They don't want to hear about it. They just want to take the money out. And I think that's why you were hearing more people that are involved in Manchester United, like Gary Neville, former players, Eric Cantona. They're coming out and talking about it now because it's just daylight robbery.
Yeah. This is the thing, yeah. Some people do think certain things like this. You can't say Joel hasn't backed Ten Hag. He hasn't. He has backed him. But the thing is where is that money getting back from? That's the question. And that's where we're all getting upset about. You know, you can't borrow more money when we're self-sufficient. We shouldn't be in that in the first place.
I don't think Joel has backed Ten Hag at all because it's too early to say. They haven't put any of their own money into the club. So
that's what I'm talking about.
On a personal level, to credit Joel, who I think his only job is really throughout transfer dealings, he kind of delays things because everything has to be given a green light from him from Tampa. You know, everything is delayed because of them. The money.
Let him wake up first before we get the answer.
He's only interested in the dividends, and I think out of all the Glazers, he was kind of credited as the one that was kind of most involved and more kind of hands-on. And I just wonder if the lack of interest from the others is starting to wane a bit on Joel, and the pressure the family's under, and the constant hostility around the media and stuff. I'm just wondering if they feel it's more trouble than it's worth. But right now, all they're doing is taking the dividends out. That's all they're doing. They're not interested in anything else.
Exactly. You've got Amar Khan saying, does the 4.25 billion valuation included the Glazers share, public shares, along with debt? Yeah, I think you said that, didn't you, Dale?
Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned
that. It does. Yeah, good question. It does.
Yeah, it's just it's an unfortunate situation to be in after coming from where we came from, you know, being the best of the best and having Sir Alex Ferguson there, and then they come over at that time, then he leaves, and then they're still there, and it's just got worse and worse. And you look at it when Mourinho came in, even I don't know if you correct me if I'm wrong, but when he first joined Mourinho, he had the money to spend. He got the players he wanted for the first season. We won the Euro, was it the cup? One of the cups with Ibrahimovic scoring against Southampton, and you know, Lingard coming on and scoring. And then the following season, he needed money to reinforce us getting better and better. And he says we did an amazing job coming second because with the squad that we had. Now, come on, it's time to open up that war chest and get some things going. And then they vetoed everything he wanted to do.
Because they spent. That year, the club. They allowed the club to spend its own money that year to get back into the Champions League. Then they were back into the Champions League, and they were happy. You know, that's what happened, Jose. And like we can all sit down and talk negatively about Mourinho. Mourinho was a very good manager, and I don't think he got much of a backing at Manchester United at all.
Exactly.
Not when you put into context that we finished second up against Man City. And if you look at their level of spending and their level of backing of Guardiola, like he signed a goalkeeper and a striker in his first transfer window, quite a bit of money. They didn't work out. And in the next transfer window, straight away, they spent big again to replace those players. At Manchester United, when a player does bad, it's like this belief that over years, he'll get good. He'll settle. He'll get a chance. But it hasn't been back since the Ferguson years, since the managers really kind of had that kind of control over a team where he can axe a player and say, right, he's not good enough, because the club under the Glazers look at value of players, and that's why Phil Jones keeps getting contracts, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the problem. I really feel like there's been a pressure on all of the managers that have come in to play certain players because of how much they've spent on them, rather than listen, this is my team, this is what I want to pick. I'm picking this team. I'm not sure because you never know, but that's how it feels to me, and that's how it looks. And I'm just glad Ten Hag. You know, when Ten Hag, when he was coming in, and they were saying they had meetings with him, and he was saying, "Listen, if everything is not done my way, I'm not coming." And I feel like that was the bit that must have been said. Something must have been said in there where they had to agree and said, "Listen, okay, Ten Hag, we'll do what you say." And then they probably even says, "Give some of these players a chance next season. Let them have their chance. If they fail with their chance, then you go and do what you're doing. That's the way it looks. I'm not sure, but that's the way I feel like has been happening with a number of the players who obviously failed at the beginning of the season.
Like, and you have to look as well at the way that they've made appointments, and they've all kind of been internal appointments. They don't really make many outcomers. Eric Cantona was talking about it today. But yeah, look, they just can't be trusted. Ten Hag, I think, would probably be aware of that already from previous managers. You can't be trusted, and I do fear for him because I don't think he'll get the backing that he really deserves. This is a manager who I've been really impressed with. I really want to see him build something special at Manchester United, and the club are already talking about future transfer windows and saying we won't be as active. Well, hopefully one of these interested parties comes in and improves things for United, but I'm not optimistic just yet.
Yeah, it's a hard one for me as well. Ten Hag can't say anything, or he'll be out the door the same way Jose was when he realised that he's going to get money. And listen, just talk to them. That was a good one.
Just on that point though, because I remember when Ali was manager, and there was quite a kind of a section of support online that were just looking for reasons to slate him. And one of the reasons that they used to slate him was that he used to back the Glazers. And it was complete nonsense. And it's what we're talking about is the manager. He's not going to come out and slag his boss. And these are people online that are typing away and wherever they work, they wouldn't go into their workplace and call out their manager. It's just, it doesn't happen. So I don't expect Ten Hag to do that. Whenever Ten Hag speaks publicly about the Glazers, it goes in one ear and out the other, because I guarantee you that his actual beliefs would be quite similar to us, because he's a football person. He's not someone like the Glazers, is he?
Yeah, to be fair, look, that's a part of media, isn't it? It's all a part of what you have to do in front of the media, and that's why when you see these press conferences, even before every game and after every game, pretty much what's going to be said, unless you've got a manager who's inexperienced, he's not going to say the right things and trip over himself, and that's where you have a laugh at him. That's what they're doing. They're just asking questions to be able to see if they trip up, and that's really it. So to be honest, I can never see a manager saying anything.
But this is what I just touched on, this question here from Benny. Do you think Ten Hag is another Joe Glazer puppet? This is what Ollie was called, and I think it's totally unfair, because I don't expect him to come out. What difference is that going to make, really? Unless he's about to lose his job and he's throwing his toys out of the pram, I understand it. But I think it's harsh to brand the manager a puppet. I think he's coming to Manchester United, and he's trying to do the best job that he can do in order to make us happy and also to build on his career. I don't think he's a Glazer puppet. I think that he's trying to do his best. He's not trying to make money for the Glazers.
Exactly. So, look, we've pretty much covered everything up to date with this situation here. If there's any more news that comes out regarding this, we'll obviously do another show. Dale, it's been amazing, but you know what's next? The big game on Sunday. Big game on Sunday where we got to prove ourselves. I know you probably won't be on the show on Thursday, so I've got to ask you here today, what are your thoughts on the game coming up on Sunday? What are you thinking about our chances of winning this game at City's ground as well?
Of course, there's a sense of optimism about Manchester United again, isn't there? Even since that Liverpool game, we've done a really good run in the league. Now, I have some fears about this game, and my favorite player since the start of the season has been Lisandro Martinez. I just really, really loved him. I love watching him. I love his aura. I love what he's brought to that defence. He's everyone celebrating tackles. It's just fantastic to watch. But I do fear, with the way City have been playing, that height might come into this one, because they have everyone basically providing everything for Haaland on a plate. And if he can just use his height, if he doesn't have to come deep and play much football and just use his height, I think that could be an issue. But if we can somehow try and make sure that Haaland has to come deep, I think Martinez will beat him all day if the ball's on the floor all day long. So I look at that. They've been really, really potent up front with Haaland. I'm not too worried about it, because I think this Manchester United team have a bit of momentum at the moment. I think there'll be fire in their bellies come Sunday, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for the Reds.
Yes. You know what? It's the counter attack that I think we can get them on, because I don't think that they can handle our pace. With 3 men up front with pace.
Do you know what, Nathan? You mentioned that the counter attack. We've been talking about counter attack in football for the past few years.
Yeah.
Hitting teams with the pace. But the one big difference right now is we throw Ericsson into the mix. And it's not even about pace. It's that midfielder receiving the ball on a half turn, turning his neck, looking up, and then the transition is just so much quicker. No, we don't just have pace. We've got someone to mix it up and to put it together. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting one. The one thing I will say too, and I said this before the Liverpool game, before a ball was kicked this season, that I was really looking forward to the games against Liverpool and City. I wasn't so much going into them with fear, because I know Manchester United are going to go into these games and go for them. We're not going to sit back and allow City do what they do, or allow Liverpool do what they do. And I think from their perspective, I don't think they enjoy it so much. You look at United now. I know it's early days, but we've gone from being the easiest team in the league to beat to having a midfield.
Yes, making a massive difference and being able to. I believe we can defend one-on-one in nearly every position now. In every position, we're actually able to do that, allowing everybody to do their own jobs. And like you said, Eriksen with Bruno as well now, because before we were missing the link to Bruno. Now he's the link to Bruno, and then Bruno's the link to those. So it's just a double, I don't even know, double whammy of being able to be a lot more better in attack and quicker and respond, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be better, and we're going to be ready. We're going to make the most of every opportunity that comes our way. So any run that happens, any run from Rashford, any run from Martial if he's fit, Anthony and Sancho, they make runs, they're being found because they're seen before the ball comes to the midfielder's foot. And Eriksen, like you say, straight in, straight away, trying to find them. And yesterday, did you see him yesterday? On fire yesterday. They beat France 2-0.
But this is something even go back to your playing days, Nathan. You know, when you were playing, if you're playing with players of a higher quality, you're probably going to make more runs, right? Because 100%. You know that they can pick you out.
Yeah.
You know, United haven't had that link in midfield with Fred and McTominay last season. Look, McTominay's been fantastic this year. I'm a fan of Fred. But with two of them in midfield, there wasn't someone doing that. It almost seemed too conservative. And you think then, like into the players' minds, like Rashford, and different attacking players, Bruno, are they going to make those runs if they know that the midfielders there aren't capable of pulling it off? I think that's another thing that Eriksen's brought in, is that mentality. They know they can be picked out.
And you know what I saw pre-season as well? Malacia finding, as soon as Rashford makes a run, Malacia can find him as well. So you've got quite a few players who are just there, just on the front foot, looking for it every time. And that's what I mean. So now Rashford don't have to wait for, pre-season. Like, before it was like just Pogba in certain games or just Bruno. Now it's Eriksen, Bruno, Dalot, and Malacia, and Martinez, and Varane. It's everybody, especially Martinez. Unbelievable from the back. And he's made a massive difference to our team going forward because his urgency and looking forward and seeing the pass through the lines. It's unbelievable. And I'm just happy. I'm enjoying football again with United.
Just one of the comments that came in here from Dick Emery, I think it just nails it, what I was talking about with forget Haaland, our midfield needs to stop De Bruyne. What I meant is the service that Haaland gets through the likes of De Bruyne, that's what we need to stop, because if it becomes a battle of Haaland and Martinez in the box, I think Haaland will get the better of him. But what I'm saying is if the likes of De Bruyne are not getting their own way, like we've seen with Arsenal, Jesus had to drop deep. If we can get Haaland to do the same thing and Martinez is meeting them out away from the box, I think he'll beat them all day.
And McTominay coming to help that, and then Varane being the covering behind. It's going to be nice to see because, like I said, it's just going to be good. I think we need to get the first goal, and then I think we'll get the win, because then it'll put a lot of pressure on them to come even more forward, and then we can take more advantage of them afterwards. So let's get that first goal, and let's see what happens. But look, it's been great having you on, Dale. It's been, that's all the time we've got. We've got our 30 minutes sorted out. But look, I can't wait to see you back on the show again as well on the Thursdays. We do have Thursday coming up, Thursday 8 p.m. the United show weekly, and then we have the pre-match for the United game on the Sunday for the Friday at 5 p.m. And as you know, we've got the post-match right after the game, and hopefully it'll be all smiles here and all red shirts, happy. And we have a red Manchester for the first time in a little while. But we've got the last comment here. What can I say? No manager can do... what's that? No manager can do... Wait a minute, that isn't it. This is it. City, different class than Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Copy. Yeah, they're trying to be a carbon copy, like a B-Tech version, but they're looking pretty good, to be fair. So yeah,
don't be getting carried away by Arsenal.
They haven't got enough of a squad though to really make it. I think they get a few injuries, they're going to be struggling. So, but
the Europa League starting now when we come back, and the Europa League is really starting every second week, and you're playing your league games, and that squad is going to be really stretched. And it's the one area I look at United and look at our transfers this summer, and I kind of think that we actually have the upper hand on quite a few teams when it comes to the squad. And the 5 substitutions too. I look at that, and I think we can kind of really take advantage of that. We could pick up some wins that we weren't getting last season. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, things are looking up for United, and I'm very positive about the season. If everyone can stay fit, I'm saying we're looking at in around the 3rd, 4th spot. 3rd at very best. I believe 4th is still possible if everyone stays fit, for sure. So I'm happy you agree with me there, Dale. But like I said, thanks for coming on. And thanks everyone in the comments for your points. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday, 8 p.m. Peace.
Thank you.
Oh, where's my...